Namaskar, good afternoon. You're watching Newsroom 365 and I'm Swati Joshi. Let's first get you updates from Karnataka. We told you how Gruha Lakshmi beneficiaries are still waiting for rupees 2,000 per month financial aid as promised by the Karnataka government. And now let's tell you, while the beneficiaries are left high and dry, what is the Siddaramaiah government doing with the funds? The funds meant for uplifting the Aam Aadmi are being spent to advertise government's guarantees and to beautify Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's official residence. The Siddaramaiah government has doled out 94.40, which is 94,40,000 to a company named Idea Lab in Bengaluru to produce 60 seconds reel to promote Congress government's 5 guarantees. This money has been given out allegedly even without a tender. These reels will focus on advertising what the Congress government is doing for people of Karnataka and will also contain interviews of the beneficiaries who have received the benefit of 6-month-old Karnataka government. Now, the Siddaramaiah government has also sanctioned 300 lakh rupees to the Public Works Department to beautify Chief Minister's residence in Kaveri. This was also given out directly while exempting the PWD from the Transparency Act.
Several women in the state of Karnataka still await the 2,000 rupees that was promised to them by the Congress party in the state. Now remember that the Congress party managed to come to power in the state largely owing to the guarantees and the promises that they've made. How are the women in the state suffering today? Well, keep watching this ground report that I bring to you from Kanakpura, the district where the Deputy Chief Minister himself hails from. Thousands of women over here say that they still await this money, that their applications are not being accepted. For many of them, even as the application has been accepted, they're absolutely clueless about why the money has still not reached them as they struggle to make ends meet.
ಅದರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರು
ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಲ್ಲೂರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ತರ ದಿನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿರೋದೇನು ನಮ್ದೇ ಕಾಯ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇವಾಗ ಕಷ್ಟ ನೀವಿ ಪಾಪದಿಂದ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಏನಾಗದೆ ಅಂತ ಅದು ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ನಮ್ನ ಅರ್ಜಿ ತಗೊಳ್ದೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಇದಂತ ಇರೋದು ಅದನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಲ್ಲೂರೆ ಇವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಬಂದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆತಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ದೋ ಇದಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ದೋ ಅಂತಾರೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋದು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಅರ್ಜಿ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ ಅರ್ಜಿನೇ ತಗೋತಾ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಅಂತಾನು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇವಾಗ ಕಷ್ಟ ನೀವಿ.
Well, the fact is that there are several issues right now that's been admitted by the government. Taking this question across now to, in fact, a gentleman here whose wife has still not received the amount. Now she is sick, and even as she awaits treatment over here, they are still waiting for the money as well.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಾಯಿಲೆ ಇದು ಹೋಗಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಾಯ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಷ್ಟೇ. ಇದನ್ನ ಕಾಯ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೀವಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಹೋಗ್ರಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅದಾಗಿಲ್ಲ.
ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಣ್ಣ ಇದರಿಂದ ಹೇಳಿ.
ಹೌದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ, ಕಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಏನಿತ್ತಪ್ಪ, ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ ಅಪ್ಪ, ಕಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಡಿ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ.
ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಕಳೆ ಕಿತ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ ನಮ್ಮವ್ವ, ಇವಾಗ ಓಡ್ ಬಂದೀನಿ, ಇವಾಗ ಹೋಯ್ತೀನಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಹೋಗ್ರಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ ಕಣ್ ಮೇಡಮ್ಮ. ನಾನು ನೋಡಿ ಸಾಕಾಯ್ತು, 1 ರೂಪಾಯಿನೂ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಭಗವಂತ. ನಾನು 1 ರೂಪಾಯಿನೂ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ತಕೋಗೋದು ಆಧಾರ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ತಕೋಯ್ತೀನಿ, ರೇಷನ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ತಕೋಯ್ತೀನಿ, ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ತಕೋಯ್ತೀನಿ, ಏನ್ ತಕೋದ್ರು ಬತ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಣವ, ಬತ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡನವ ನೋಡಿ ಕಳೆ ಕಿರ್ತಾ ಓಡ್ ಬಂದಿನ ಕೈ ತೊಳಿಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನೋಡಿ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದಾಗ ಹೋಗಮ್ಮ ಅಂತ ಬಿಸಾಕ್ತಾರೆ, ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಎತ್ತಿ ಆಧಾರ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಎತ್ತಿ ಬಿಸಾಕ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರೇ? ನೋಡಿ ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಗೇಯ್ಬೇಕು, ಉಣ್ಬೇಕು. ಇಬ್ರು ಮಕ್ಳವ್ರೆ, ಏನ್ ಸುಖನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೋಡಿ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಓಡ್ ಬಂದೆ, ಯಾರೋ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಫೋನ್, ನೋಡಿ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ ಕಣ್ ಮೇಡಮ್. ನೀವೇನು ನೋಡಿ ವಸಿನ ನಿಮ್ದು ಅಮ್ಮಯ್ಯ ನಮ್ಗೊಸಿ ಬರುವಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲವ.
ಇದ್ರ ತನಕ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ
ರೂಪಾಯಿನೂ ಬರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, 1 ಚಿಟ್ಟೆ ಪೈಸಾನು ಬರ್ಲ ಕಣಮ್ನಿ, ಬರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಯಾರು ಬಂದ್ ಕೇಳಿದಾರ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ? ಅಂದ್ರೆ
ಯಾರು ಕೇಳಿಲ್ರ, ಏನು ಮಾತಾಡೇವಲ್ರು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಬರು ತಕೊಂಡೋಗಿ ತೋರ್ಕಬತ್ತೀನಿ ಎಂದು ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ತೋರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಕೈ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾರೆ ಮಾಲ್ ಮಡ್ಗಿವ್ನಿ.
Well, you heard the plight of this woman here who says that she is a daily wage worker, that she struggles day after day. In fact, she's shown us the condition of her hands that, she has to endure on a daily basis. And these are people from the lowest strata of society that, we are speaking to today, expecting that, some amount at least would help them. But we'll really have to wait and see. Of course, the government says that the matter is likely to be rectified in the coming days. But how long it really takes for, them to get the amount and for their livelihoods to be bettered is a question that we'll continue to raise on Times Now until such time that the amount is not credited to them.
Well, the BJP has hit out at Siddaramaiah government, saying while much noise has been made about the 5 promises, the Congress government has failed when it comes to delivery.
The Congress government in the state of Karnataka, they want to cover up the entire situation, how this government has completely failed to manage the drought, or with regard to the load shedding, or the governance, or the law and order. Even with regard to the guaranteed delivering, they have completely failed. But they want to create a perception, they want to create a narrative that everything is fine by having this kind of videos. That too, in a tough situation like drought, where the government is short of money for the renovation of CM house, 3 crore. What kind of furniture? Not renovation, furniture. Only for furniture, they have spent 3 crores.
Well, the Congress has blamed previous BJP government for this, and we in fact have a reaction coming in from Rahim Khan. Let's listen in.
No, 1 crore, what is there 1 crore? They, how much, if the inquiry, the advertisement last time, minimum crores of they are doing before. 1 crore, what is there? Nothing is there.
The Congress government, however, has said that the delay is on account of documentation issues, assuring that transfer to remaining beneficiaries will be made soon. Women and Child Development Minister of the state, Lakshmi in fact said there are some technical issues because of which the aid has not been able to reach 3%. Rest 97% have been covered. That's the defense coming in. We have Imran joining us on the broadcast with more details. Now, Imran, it's not that there's only a documentation issue or technical issue. We're also given to understand that the fund, in fact, is being spent on advertising. Lakhs and lakhs of rupees are being given. Apart from that, there's some renovation work, I believe, happening at the Chief Minister's residence, for which 300 lakh rupees have been doled out.
Well, the BJP has targeted the government, said on one instance they're saying they do not have money and there is drought in the state and there is not enough money for many of the important schemes of the government, as most of it has diverted for the schemes which they have promised. At the same time, the Chief Minister's residence and office are being renovated, Deputy Chief Minister's office and a home are being renovated, and several other ministers. The Ashwath Narayan, the BJP, targeted the government over this, and he also criticized, said that at the time when there is a drought, there is not enough money to fulfill the 5 schemes announced by the Congress. What was the need to go for new vehicles and also the renovation of the bungalows of the Chief Minister and as the Deputy Chief Minister and the ministers in the government? That could have been done when there is surplus funds in the government. The government, however, says that they needed this renovation, and it is not much, is what, like you heard from the minister there, Rahim Khan, saying that it's only 1 crore which they're spending as advertisement for making the videos for the popularizing the schemes, is what the government's response is. And they instead blame BJP government, saying that during their time when there was drought, they had splurged money on advertisements much higher than what the Congress government is spending. In between all this, the people who are like my colleague got the ground report very clearly says that many of them are still not received. The government claims that 90% has been done, but the estimate which is coming is that close to around 13 lakh women has still not received Gruha Lakshmi scheme, and the government ascribes it to a technical failure or not submitting proper documents on the part of the people.
Right. Imran, in fact, stay on with us. We're also joined by guests. We have Anand Gurumurthy, BJP spokesperson, and Advocate Nikhil Jain, political analyst, joining us on the broadcast. Advocate Nikhil Jain, how do you respond to this? So there is money and, in fact, lakhs and lakhs to make reels to promote the scheme. But people who already know about it are lining up at government offices, are being turned away because of the reason being given as some documentation issue.
Swati, first of all, every government, whether it's the state government or the central government, they have an information and broadcasting department, and that it is their job to publicize government schemes, government projects, and beneficiary schemes like these, right? So if the government is spending a part of its very large budget on reels or some promotion, that is perfectly within their right to do. We are talking about 94 lakhs here. The Modi government has spent 3,000 crores in the past 5 years on advertising alone. We are talking about a shortage of funds here. This is the allegation of the BJP, the shortage of funds that they're talking about, that is simply non-disbursement to 10% of the beneficiaries because of technical reasons. We are talking about funds, so let's also talk about the 2,300 crore dues pending from the GST that the union government has not yet given to the state of Karnataka. So let's not try to, drum up the numbers by calling 3 crores 300 lakhs.
Okay.
When you
so you're
look
justifying
at the
it. So you're saying it's fine. It's fine that the government has spent so much money. Okay, then what are you saying?
What I'm saying is that some beneficiaries have not gotten the money yet. They should, and the government is working on it. Just because
but you're also justifying the spending on the advertising, isn't it? When you bring in the money spent by the BJP.
Absolutely.
Okay, let me bring in Anand Gurumurthy.
1 crore spent.
Okay, Anand Gurumurthy, your government has spent way more. So why are you pointing fingers at the Congress government who is spending on advertising?
See, basically Congress are a bunch of liars. They lied to the people, came into power. There is drought in the state, but still they have not lost their properties that they are grown up with. That is being corrupt, and a lot of law and order issues in Karnataka in the last 5 months. They don't care about it. And after lying to people, coming to power, now when people are asking, give us what benefits you are going to give, they are not doing that. They are deviating the fund towards the 5 elections to the India Alliance. They are the most corrupt and inept government is being run in Karnataka. We are going to question them in the assembly. We are going to ask for a white paper. The assembly is going to start in the December 1st week. We are going to ask for a white paper. We are going to ensure that Congress is nailed on this issue and Siddaramaiah resigns and Mr. DK Shivakumar also resigns on this condition only, because they are cheating the people of Karnataka and diverting the funds of Karnataka towards elections that are happening in the other parts of the country.
Advocate Nikhil Jain also respond to the point that is being raised and the charge that the government rather would spend on the beautification of the Chief Minister's residence than ensuring that the money reaches the poor.
I think this is regular government expenditure. They're talking about 3 crores for the renovation of the Chief Minister's house. They don't look at the 500 crores being spent on Narendra Modi's or the Prime Minister's bungalow. They're not looking at the 8,000 crores that was spent on buying a new jet airplane for him to fly around. These are government expenditures. If you're going to rack up 3 crores and 1 crore as some sort of a very big amount, I'm sorry, what they're trying to do is they're just trying to fool the people by giving numbers that at a micro level seem very big, but so far as state government's expenditures are concerned, where the budgets are tens of thousands of crores.
No, but look at the comparative analysis. Look at the numbers. 2,000 promised to these women and 3 crores being spent on beautification of the Chief Minister's residence. 2,000 promised to these women and 90 lakh rupees being spent on making reels to advertise to promote the scheme.
Per woman. No. Swati, 2,000 per woman. There are supposed to be 1 crore 16 lakh beneficiaries of this, so which totals to about 2,300 crores in total spending by the government, which coincidentally is about the same amount that is spending from the union government to the state.
Okay, while you justify that, you also need to talk about the lack of transparency. Why was it done without inviting tenders? Advocate Nikhil Jain, respond to that charge as well.
I'm sure the government must have. See, the point is that the moment you put something in a tender process, it takes longer to deliver it. And when the Congress government wouldn't have delivered it, then the BJP would have been at their toes that you guys had promised something. You said that you'll come out with these guarantees and deliver them within 2 months, and now see you're not delivering.
Hey, this is not.
So ideally, I think there should be a tender process. But sorry,
tenders to buy furniture. She's not asking about the guarantee scheme. She's asking about the tenders to buy furniture.
The tender to make these reels, and also the fact that why was PWD kept out of this?
Kept out of the furniture thing.
See, there is a cost of releasing a tender for anything, carrying out an auction and bidding process. I'm not sure if it is the standard operating procedure in Karnataka to release a tender even for a 3 crore purchase. I may be wrong on it, but that is my limited understanding.
Is that not a regular process and a protocol? No, let me take a reaction from your co-panelist, Mr. Gurumurthy.
It is a clear scam that they are doing in Karnataka to fund elections that is happening in 5 different states. Congress is funding the India Alliance through all these scams, and it is very clear that they are running one of the most corrupt and inept government in the entire country. And they are also cheating the people of Karnataka. They cheated them and came to power, and now today they are not delivering whatever they have promised. Lot of law and order issues in Karnataka, especially in Bengaluru city. Lot of things are happening and people are suffering on a day-to-day basis, but these people are not worried. They are just in their own, casual thinking that, okay, people don't care about these things, but they are going to listen from us in the assembly. They are going to answer us with a white paper. Otherwise, we are going to take them back to the people's court in a few days.
Respond, Mr. Jain, respond. Is there enough money for the schemes? Is there enough money that the government has to fulfill their promises?
It's very funny that the BJP spokesperson talks about raising issues in the assembly when they've yet not been able to find a leader of opposition in the state 5-6 months after the election.
Mr.
So far
Nikhil
as
Jain, don't
the
stop.
speaker
Stop
or
one
remarks is
second. Can I
concerned-
answer that? Mr. Nikhil Jain, you have taken too much of time. Let me answer that, okay? You're just pointing towards the union government, which has a surplus budget, and ensuring that, our new parliament is getting built. The old buildings that were, could not be renovated are being newly built. All those things you talk as 500 crores, 3,000 crores, and all other crores that you want to, you are just pointing out at the union government, which is managing its budget from 9 years very well. You are not able to answer a single question about the Congress government in the state, which does not have enough money and doling out things to other states.
I am talking.
Your government should be ashamed of it. Instead of fighting out solutions for the people of Karnataka, you are just pointing fingers at BJP and trying to escape from the situation, which the people are understanding, Mr. Nikhil Jain. Stop this and start.
Mr. Gurumurthy, I'm talking about a leader of opposition in the Karnataka Legislative Assembly.
Mr. Jain, tell me, is there enough money? Does the government have funds to ensure that these promises are fulfilled?
First of all, I was not talking about the parliament this time around. I was talking about you not appointing a leader of opposition in Karnataka Legislative Assembly, which has nothing to do with the union government.
Anchor's question, please answer that. Is there funds, Nikhil Jain? Don't try to deviate and run away from the debate. You are just wasting people's time now, actually.
See, the point is, if there is no.
You are
If the Karnataka government, Mr. Gurumurthy, if the Karnataka government is lacking any funds, it is also on the central government for not releasing the GST.
Then why is this money being spent on advertising? Then why is the money being spent on beautification of the Chief Minister's residence, if at all there is fund crunch like you are talking about? Mr. Jain?
We are talking about small numbers when you talk about the macro level. This welfare scheme that is supposed to have a spending of over close to 2,500 crores, you think that 1 crore is too much of an expenditure, and also that 1 crore is not for the single.
No. My point is, if at all there is fund crunch, shouldn't this money and all the money be diverted to fulfill those promises since you came to power based on that?
Can you please repeat? There's an audio.
I am saying, if at all there is fund crunch, shouldn't this money and all the money be diverted to fulfill the promises, because it is based on those promises that you made to the people of Karnataka that you came to power.
I'm sorry, but that's a very juvenile argument to make when you talk about public spending. This is the same line of argument people make, that why should we send a mission?
It's about priorities. It's about priorities.
That is the point.
I can play out multiple statements given by leaders, top leaders of Karnataka, who said, this is our priority. We want to fulfill these promises. So it's about priority.
If your government is short on budget, you should not be spending hundreds or thousands of crores on advertisement. But that is not to say that the government cannot spend any money at all on advertisements, or the government should not renovate the house of the chief minister, or the government ministers.
At a time when people are still waiting for those benefits to reach them, and the government is spending money on beautification of the chief minister's residence and on advertisements to make reels to promote the scheme that they launched for the Janata, questions will be asked irrespective of how juvenile you find it. Those questions will be put out. Mr. Jain and Gurumurthy ji, thank you very much for joining us.